The Philadelphia Eagles could wipe their hands clean and say, let's just make this one more move, be done with the edge rushing position, and then we can focus on other things. It looks like a former Georgia Bulldog is now on the trade block, and I would love to see if Howie Rosen would take a shot at this because this team is fielding offers. We're going to be talking about Brandon Graham's retiring from the NFL, from the Philadelphia Eagles, and had his press conference, his retirement press conference the other day. So a lot to talk about here, so let's get into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not. First thing I want to talk about here is Brandon Graham, because that's the most important thing, where we found out he was the Eagles at the NovaCare. They were setting up the podium for him to, set his retirement speech, okay? 15 seasons with the Eagles. And just a fantastic career, a late blooming career, and a two-time Super Bowl champion. Okay, now come to find out, 3 weeks ago. Okay, we found this out the other day. Okay, from Derek Gunn that Brandon Graham did make his decision 3 weeks ago behind the scenes that he was going to retire. I know us Eagle fans were kind of starting to figure out, like, is he coming back? What's going on? We weren't paying attention too much to it because, free agency started and the Eagles were making moves, and we wanted to see what the Eagles are going to turn this roster into for another Super Bowl run. And it looks like we won't have Brandon Graham involved in that. Okay. Graham would have played this year if the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Okay, he would have begged to come back. That was the news from his press conference, as emotional as it was, as crazy as it was, and I definitely shed a tear a little bit listening to it. One of the most humble players that we've ever had in Philadelphia, not only as a great player on the field, but as a family man off the field, what he does for the Eagles community, and, just a really good dude. And, and there's not a lot of NFL players that could go out there and play for their franchise, play for their hometown team, their team that drafted them from the beginning, their entire career. A lot of players can't say that. And Brandon Graham, as much as the last few years, he was coming back on 1-year deals, he was never going to play for another team, regardless of even if there was interest. His heart was in Philadelphia, and that's where it should be. I don't think it's over for him. I think he wants to come back as a coach. I think he wants to be around this team next year, this offseason, and really still be involved with this team, except he won't be playing in a midnight green jersey anymore. So congratulations to Brandon Graham on a successful career and a two-time Super Bowl champion now, especially after the first one where he really made history on one of the most historic, other than the Philly special, one of the most historical plays, biggest stops that he's had, and one of the best quarterbacks in Tom Brady. So good for BG, man. Very happy for him. Now the juice of this video, okay, as well as other things are important here. Edge rusher has been an interesting one. Obviously, losing Josh Sweat, seeing the rise of Nolan Smith, the rise of Jalix Hunt, and you signed Patrick Johnson, obviously, and obviously having Joshua Uche going all in on another edge rusher and Azeez Ojulari. Okay, now we're getting some news now from Sports Illustrated, and some rumblings are starting to happen now. Okay, some rumblings are starting to happen that the Jacksonville Jaguars are fielding offers for the first overall pick, Travon Walker. Okay, another former Georgia Bulldog here. Okay, we were kind of waiting for this to happen, okay, because Jaguars already signed an edge rusher to big money. Doesn't look like they're going to be doing that again. They're fielding offers for him. Obviously, with 3 seasons with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he has accumulated 24 sacks, 28 tackles, and 162 total tackles on top of 3 forced fumbles. Okay, he's had back-to-back seasons with 10-plus sacks, and that's an awesome thing, okay? And he's still a very young player at 25 years old, with one more year left on his deal. His cap number for 25 is $11.8 million, which would mean that he would need an extension. Obviously, he has the fifth-year option with Jacksonville, but it looks like they're probably not going to put that up. But obviously, that is a big cap number for the last year of his deal, and I guess the Jags want to see what they could get for him. Okay, now I kind of sat back and said to myself, I know we picked up a couple edge rushers, even three if you want to include Patrick Johnson, Ojulari, and getting Ushi. Okay, Joshua Uche, whatever his name is. I think two of them being big ceilings for the Philadelphia Eagles at a low cost. Trevon Walker here, you could trade for Trevon Walker if they could trade for him without giving up a first-round pick, a guy that is ready day one, okay? A guy that, because when you go into the draft, okay, you have to go through an offseason program with the guys, but if you want to get a guy that already has a resume already connected to him as it is right now, and you want to maybe trade for him, it's a possibility, because he would start right away for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then if you don't give up that 32nd pick, you can go straight into this draft and do whatever the hell you want. Just remember now, it's late in the process of free agency now, so the Eagles have already accumulated picks. They can't touch the comp picks for 26, and they have no comp picks for 25, obviously, but they still have picks for 26 regardless. Okay, they still have picks they could use if they want to use a couple picks. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Okay, I wasn't even imagining what a Myles Garrett trade would look like involving picks. Okay, or a Max Crosby trade involving picks if they didn't re-sign, with their franchises. Okay, what would have cost for teams to go after those guys? I have no idea, but the Eagles could really take a big shortcut here, trade for Trevon Walker, and then go into this draft, and pretty much you have the luxury of doing whatever you want. And I think that the edge rushing position would be probably officially done at this point. They could go into the draft. They trade for Trevon Walker. They can go into the draft and maybe draft a DT, or they can go safety, which where it looks like it's going in that direction because it's looking more like a glaring hole at this point at that position. So I think you really got to think hard, okay? And for me, I'm not going to say this is promising or anything like that, but this is another avenue that the Eagles could say, hey, let's give the Jaguars a call. Let's see, let's try to get something done here, okay? I understand, the only thing I can say that they wouldn't do this is because they can't take a player, especially him, that's got over $11 million against the cap this year. They're already trying to get rid of Dallas Goedert. That's $11.8 million against the cap. Okay, so they're trying to save money, obviously, right now for Jalen Carter's contract and extending Cam Jurgens. Those are really the first two contracts they really have to work on between this year and next year. This would be a dream to trade for a guy like this, and obviously we've been talking about this, that this could be on the table, and realistically the Eagles wouldn't have to draft an edge rusher in this draft or try to trade up for one and give away more picks, or realistically, you can get a guy that's already off of a double-digit sack resume the last couple years, trade for a Trevon Walker, add another Georgia Bulldog to this group, and then you're pretty much set for the season. Let's go after a Super Bowl now, because your pass rush would pretty much be set with Trevon Walker being traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm not saying this is promising, because I know the Eagles have a lot more on their mind when it comes to contracts, who they have to pay down the road, especially the first two contracts. Like I said, Cam Jurgens, Jalen Carter, and whoever else down the road that you really have to pay. Okay, so they are fielding offers right now. Wouldn't shock me that Howie Roseman makes the phone call, but we have to think that Howie Roseman is going to try to give a phone call and see what he could and see what they could possibly have to give up for him. And then really it comes down to that contract, because I don't think they're just going to rent him for the year. I don't think they're going to rent him for the year on top of the cap number that he has right now. They would have to lessen that cap number and extend that contract to lessen it. And, I guess we'll see what happens. But I feel like a lot of teams are going to have interest, just depending on what the Jags are going to get draft compensation wise. If they're willing to get, if they want a first round pick, and to be honest with you, the Eagles' first round pick, it's valuable, but it's really not valuable. It's mostly a second round pick right now. But for us, it's still a valuable pick because this is a guy that starts on the field for the Eagles day one because somebody is going to drop in this draft. So there's just a bunch of combinations the Eagles can do here. But just let everybody know that Travon Walker is now available with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it looks like they are fielding offers for him. And I'm kind of I'm a little curious to see what is it going to cost. And, then you'll probably have to give him an extension. And that's where I feel like the Eagles are going to be backing out of it, on top of what his numbers are this year, and then extending him on top of it where you're trying to pay other guys. That's where I'm at, as of right now with the situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Travon Walker. Would you take a trade for him? And would you kind of take a shortcut here and just trade for a guy at this point? Or do you want to leave everything alone? I think you're going to be able to do some pretty good work by adding a Trevon Walker. But without him, I feel like the Eagles are still going to do well. And I think edge rusher could be another big target in the draft, as well as safety and some others. So it's going to be really interesting. Wonder if the Eagles are actually set and feel like what they have in the building right now is fine with them. And they feel good about the ceilings of some of these edge rushers that are going to come on and be hungry, coming off of these, on these prove it 1-year deals pretty much for the Philadelphia Eagles to prove themselves to other teams that they still got it and they are worth getting paid more for a new contract elsewhere. So let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day, and make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes one up, follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.